I never really wanted to live in Sunnyside Estates. But with its perfect location for my commute and peaceful walking trails for Maverick, my loyal service dog, it seemed like a decent compromise. Maverick is a golden retriever, highly trained to help me manage PTSD from my military service overseas. He always wears his service vest when we're outside and follows every command with precision. I know the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, like the back of my hand, because when your health depends on a service animal, you don't leave room for misunderstandings. I just never thought I'd have to use that knowledge against my HOA president. The first time I met Karen Whitfield, she was patrolling the neighborhood like she owned it, clipboard in hand, frown etched into her face like permanent stone. She introduced herself as HOA president, clearly expecting me to be impressed. "I don't believe I approved a dog in this community," she said, eyeing Maverick like he was an intruder. I calmly explained that Maverick wasn't a pet, he's a service animal, and therefore exempt from pet restrictions under federal law. She scoffed and muttered something about people always finding loopholes, then stomped away. That should have been my first warning. In the following weeks, I received 3 violation notices from the HOA, one for my grass being a 1/4 inch too long, another for my mailbox being the wrong shade of black, and a third because my trash can was visible from the street for 45 minutes after pickup. Each notice was signed with Karen's looping signature, topped with a smiley face that felt more sarcastic than sincere. Still, I complied. I didn't want trouble. But something told me Karen wasn't done. At the next HOA meeting, she proposed a new rule requiring all animals, including service dogs, to be registered with the board and wear HOA-approved identification. When I raised my hand to point out this violated the ADA, she interrupted. "Federal laws don't override community standards," she snapped. No one else in the room spoke, but I saw the discomfort in their eyes. After the meeting, Karen cornered me. "If you want to be difficult, I can be difficult too," she hissed, breath reeking of coffee and control issues. A few days later, I was on my porch enjoying the quiet morning. Maverick lay peacefully at my feet as I read the newspaper. That's when her shadow fell across the lawn. Karen, in her signature khaki shorts and polo shirt, stood there holding a spray bottle. "Your dog is violating the new ordinance," she barked loud enough for my neighbors to hear. "No proper HOA identification." I calmly repeated that federal law protected service dogs, and besides, the rule hadn't even passed yet. Karen's face turned bright red. "I'm tired of you military types thinking you're above the rules," she spat, stepping onto my property. And then she sprayed Maverick directly in the face with whatever was in that bottle. He yelped and scrambled back, pawing at his eyes. I jumped to my feet, shielding him, demanding to know what she had just sprayed. "Just vinegar and water," she smirked. "Maybe now he'll learn to respect authority." I was furious, but military training had taught me to stay calm under pressure. I took Maverick inside, rinsed his eyes thoroughly, and made sure he was okay. His eyes were irritated, but thankfully there was no permanent damage. Once he was comfortable, I dialed 911. Interfering with a service animal is a federal offense, I told the dispatcher. 20 minutes later, 2 officers arrived. I handed them Maverick's certification and training paperwork and pointed to Karen's house. One officer took my statement while the other went across the street. From the window, I saw her yelling, arms flailing. The officer didn't look amused when they returned. They told me Karen admitted to spraying Maverick, but claimed she was enforcing community standards. The officers informed her clearly that what she had done was a federal violation under the ADA, plus animal cruelty under state law. They asked if I wanted to press charges. Absolutely. Karen was arrested on the spot, handcuffed, while screaming that she'd have me evicted and turn the neighborhood against me. Neighbors peeked out of their homes. One whispered, "She finally went too far." Another came over afterward to apologize for not speaking up sooner. "We've all been intimidated by her, she admitted. The legal process was swift. Karen faced charges for interfering with a service animal, animal cruelty, and harassment. In court, she showed up in designer clothes with a pricey lawyer who looked more nervous as the evidence stacked up. The judge made it clear, community rules do not override federal law, especially when it comes to disability accommodations. An emergency HOA meeting was held soon after. Nearly every homeowner showed up. A vote of no confidence was called. The result? Unanimous. Karen was immediately removed from the board. She eventually accepted a plea deal, 30 days in jail. $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service at an animal shelter, mandatory education on disability rights. When the judge read the sentence, Karen looked stunned. She whispered, "But I was just enforcing the rules." The judge leaned forward and said, "The most important rule, Miss Whitfield, is to respect the law, especially the one that protects service animals and the people who rely on them." As she was escorted away, our eyes met. The smugness was gone, replaced by the look of someone who'd finally met a rule she couldn't bend. Maverick sat beside me, calm and poised, the image of what a real professional looks like. I reached down and scratched his ears. He leaned in, a small but powerful reminder of the bond that carried us through the storm.